When you're down in the dumps, there is only one type of therapy that is going to help. Retail therapy. That's right, I'm spending money that I don't have. That I'm going to hope it makes me feel a bit better. At the moment, I'm sort of focusing on expanding my game collection. Got a bunch of PS2, got Wii and Wii U and DS, and then next to me here, we have Switch titles. I don't have as many Switch games as I would like to have. So, the premise of this trip was to bulk out that entire section by picking up some Switch games. In my local game store, I did find a couple of beauties and of one dud. If I'm honest, there was one dud. The first game that I found, and I've had my eye on it for a little while, was Songbird Symphony. The back of the game describes it as the cutest 2D platformer ever composed. And after playing it, I can clarify, yeah, I guess. Look at him, this little chubby guy doing his little dance. It's adorable. When you compare him to a fully grown bloke with a plunger, a little pink sphere, and whatever the fuck that is. Meow. He's kind of got him beat. This guy is cute. You play in this game as Burb. The character's name is Burb. If that doesn't say everything it needs to say about this game, he's looking for his real parents, because at the moment, the people he's living with are racists. Racists. The game is split up into sort of platforming segments a la almost Metroidvania-like, in that this little overworld has little tasks that you can do to unlock collectibles and stuff like that. And it's mixed with these like Guitar Hero-like rhythm levels that I am not very good at. Like, at the end of each one of these levels, you collect a new note, and as these notes progress, the more complex these songs get. After my fourth note, I was gone, mate. I couldn't do any more. It was pointless. I was just tapping random buttons. Doesn't matter though, because it seems like as long as you like hit a couple of the notes right, you pass anyway. This game's not challenging unless you're playing it properly. I wish the platforming was a little more developed. I wasn't struggling with that as much as I'd want to. I would have loved it to have picked up a more like Celeste feel, where you're playing as this tiny little bird and you're trying to get through this huge level. But they tried to focus more on the rhythm and the song, and I respect that. All in all, a really surprising game. A really nice little platformer, perfect for cozying up on an autumn evening like I did, and just playing it whilst the rain's pouring outside and you've got a coffee next to you steaming away. No straight roads. Holy shit. This game was really, really fun. And I will continue playing this. In fact, out of all of the games, I would say that this is the one I'm going to go back to the most and try and finish it. Strangely enough, it's another game based around rhythm. You play as characters who are in a city powered by music, specifically EDM music. The people you're playing as are a rock and roll band trying to bring rock and roll back to a city that is mostly EDM. The big higher-ups, the big energy corporations who thrive on EDM music, hate that and ban rock and roll, and you become these freedom fighters, slowly gaining fans as you take down each district's EDM boss. Straight from the get-go, it was giving me Jet Set Radio vibes. Always a good thing. And then I started playing it more, and it very quickly sort of turned into an almost homage to Persona and Scott Pilgrim, with an animation style very reminiscent of the early Naughty Dog games like Jak and Daxter. This sort of rubber hose style that really harkened on to things that I loved in my childhood. Like I said, out of all the games that I'm talking about in this video, this will be the one that I go back first to finish. I want to play it now, basically, is what I'm saying. Now, as of filming this, it is October, which means spoopy season is well underway, so it didn't make sense not to put a horror game on this list. It's called The Persistence. It's fine. I'm not a huge fan of games like this, but I did start playing this one, and I enjoyed what I played. In this game, you play as a clone of a dead crewmate of this ship, which is slowly getting pulled into a black hole. Your job is to go around this damaged and broken ship, killing other dodgy clones of dead people and extracting their DNA and stuff. There are a few clever mechanics in this game, which I quite liked. So because you play as a clone, every time you die, you simply come back as another clone of the person you're playing as. A diegetic way of putting in lives, basically. And because of the black hole, every time you do die, the ship gets rearranged a little bit. So you have to go and sort of like figure out where certain parts are on this version of the run. It was fun. I enjoyed it. It's just not up my street, really. If I am really, really dying to play a video game at some point that's gonna scare me a little bit, I'll play The Last of Us. This game does pull in sort of concepts of Last of Us, a little pinch of Halo, maybe a bit of Metroid in there. It's fine for what it is. It was a cheap Switch game. It's going to bulk out my collection. If you like this sort of game, give it a play. It did begin as a VR game. It screams VR. This game screams VR. The menus are just VR menus. Most of the interactions in the game are based on you looking in a specific place, which is a little bit difficult to do when you're using a controller and you're not just like moving your head around. The final game that I'm going to talk about, it might be a little bit early for this because it is October. It's Snow Bros. Play alone or together with friends to save Snowland from the evil King Arctic. Well, doesn't that just sound pleasant? It's an arcade game. It's an arcade game. At first I was disappointed. I was playing each level and the levels were getting very similar and I was like, oh man, this is a bit boring. Then I got to the first boss and the boss was actually a little bit challenging and I did beat it. The thing that surprised me most about this game is that it came with stuff in the box. Like, you don't get stuff in the box anymore, but I got stickers. I got stickers in the box, and get this, I got a little instruction manual with like art in it and tips and tricks. More of this, please. Modern game developers, I want little manuals with a little notes page in the back so that when I find cool shit in your game, I can write it down. Snow Bros, I would recommend picking up on the eStore. You don't need a physical release of this game. It's an arcade game and it doesn't really get any deeper than that. If this was just on my Switch, downloaded, I would, if I was sat on a bus, play a couple rounds. If I was stuck on a train for a little while, I'd see how far I could get before turning it off and playing Tears of the Kingdom. You don't need a physical release. You don't need to be taking up space in your bag with this game. I'm going to end the video a little bit differently. Obviously, this was game hunting, and I told you the games that I picked up, but I also met up with a friend on the same day, and we went and had a look around town, a few other shops. We went to a Waterstones first. Waterstones that I've frequented since I was a young boy. Turns out, I knew nothing of this Waterstones because there was a secret upstairs that was just packed with manga. I love me some comics, I love me some manga, and I love me some art books. I wish there was more video game stuff. They did have some Pokemon. I didn't pick up anything. What I did pick up though, I made the mistake of going into my local HMV and I found some of these Sonic blind boxes from the Netflix show Sonic Prime. Okie dokie. So, I'm going to be opening up these Sonic mystery boxes. They're from the Sonic Prime show. On the back, at least, there's some that I can say that I want. Like, I would like Sonic. Like, it was one of my pet peeves with these sorts of mystery boxes is when they do, like, figures that aren't just their base form. Like, it will be, for example, here we've got Knuckles, but he's from the Leaf world. Like, he looks like he's dressed as Skull Kid. Like, I don't want to have to explain a figure when people come around and they're like, oh, you got some Sonic figures, what are these from? And I've got to be like, oh yeah, it's from Sonic Prime. Like, I don't want Robotnik in a toupee, you know? I don't care about that. I want base Sonic because he looks cool and it's going to look good on a shelf, and I'm going to be happy with that Sonic figure on a shelf. Let's get into this, shall we? Oh, okay. So the first one we got was Tails. So I think in the show he's called 9. If you don't know Sonic Prime, it's basically just a multiverse show.
it's because Marvel is doing the multiverse, so Sonic needed to do it as well. This version of Tails is meant to have 9 tails, like he has mechanical tails, he's got 6 mechanical tails. Rather than giving him 6 mechanical tails, they've just given him 1 tail that is made up of the 6 mechanical tails. Okay, so box number 2 is significantly heavier than the first box, so I'm hoping that it's one of the Sonics, because I can imagine his quills being quite heavy, made out of the plastic. Let's open it up, and I'm going to open it this way so that you guys see it first. That. Dope. Cool. I'm happy. We got a Sonic. It's not the one that I necessarily wanted, but it's a Sonic, and that means that we've got Sonic and Tails from this show. So I'm pretty happy with that loadout. I'm pretty happy with that setup. These two will look great on a shelf, to the point where I'm not gonna feel the need to buy any more.
All in all, look at him. You're not going to see him because I'm here. But look, Sonic. I'm super glad that I got Sonic and Tails in the end, because if I'd have gotten 2 Rouge de Bats and had them up on my shelf, I wouldn't be bloody happy with it, I'll tell you. And I would end up wanting to go and buy more, and these were not as cheap as they would have been when I was 6. But I do have adult money now, so I can spend it on what I want, Mum and Dad, if that is your real name. On that note, I'm going to head off and I'm going to go and play some more No Straight Roads with a coffee and enjoy the rest of my evening before I have to edit this video tomorrow after work. Ta-ra for now, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you later. If you like the video, drop a like and subscribe and shit. It does help, and it makes me want to do this again. So if you did like the video, support me, please. See you later.